Stay tuned. Your broadcast is about to begin.
Stay tuned. Your broadcast is about to begin.
I can hear music.
Stay tuned.
You know, Fort Steuben Maintenance should be your first choice.
Live from Bennigan's Restaurant, Ohio Valley Sports Online presents our high school coaches shows. Coming up at 6 p.m., Big Red head coach Reno Saccoccia. At 6:30, Indian Creek's Andrew Connor. 7 o'clock, Toronto's Josh Frankie. And at 7:30, Steubenville Catholic Central's Eric Meek. And we're joined now by the coach who is now the winningest football coach in the history of Ohio football, Reno Saccoccia. Coach, I know it's good to get it out of the way, but it's got to be a great feeling. Getting there. That shows longevity and success.
Well, it shows a lot of good people you're surrounded by, but, I've been teaching we are us and not me, but we. So I'm done answering questions about that. It's on to 2022, and I just feel that our 22 football team has worked. They've been great. They've been great this year. Their effort, their love of the game, everything about it has been first class, and they deserve this opportunity to have everybody's attention, all the Big Red Nation's attention on them.
Well, we'll talk a little bit about the game, Coach. It seemed like offensively you had a little trouble getting going. You get a screen going for 80 and get you a touchdown. But defensively, you stopped them inside the 20, I think, 3 times. I know twice on turnovers, once on downs and once on an interception. So effort on the defense, you were flying around to the football and pretty good keeping them, once they get in the red zone, keeping them not getting any points at all.
Yeah, we had over 400 yards of offense. Just, we had our timing in the passing game wasn't as good as it should be, and we had some mistakes in the running game. And but we sat down, showed the film to our players. Whatever we did wrong is fixable. Yeah. So as long as it's fixable. And I love the enthusiasm they played with. I love the way the quarterback ran the show out on offense. And especially when things aren't going as well as you want. And like I told Phaeton, I said, Phaeton, you're not going to have as good a games as you had last year in your mind because your expectations are so much greater. So even if you play better, you're going to feel like you're not playing better because of the expectations that you've put on yourself. And but I love the way he's working. I love the way the offensive line. In playing we played 29 kids on offense, and it's hard to get timing that. But I feel that it's important right now, and I think it'll pay off at the end of the year. And we just got to keep doing what we're doing. And the only thing that we didn't do that I wanted to do is we didn't change centers, and I just didn't feel I didn't feel comfortable, so we went with the same center the whole game.
Did a nice job running the ball. Bazika had a bunch of yards. Ostovich ran hard as always, and Falks and a bunch of other guys. They're running back by committee. You were able to get a lot of guys in there, and again, it all starts with your offensive line, but. Running backs all did pretty good the other night.
Well, I think everybody played good, but we didn't all play good at the same time, if that makes any sense to you. It was always a let down here or a let down there or a let down there, missed assignment there. But when you graded them all out, their grade was, better than it seemed, but it wasn't all together. And that's timing and that's playing together. So hopefully the second game we've improved. We felt we had a really bad day last Wednesday, and we had a really good day this Wednesday. So hopefully we have a good day tomorrow. Like I said, I think that most of your games are won on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And the attitude that we carry off the field on Thursday, hopefully will carry over into Friday.
for the first game of the season, you were talking about being on time. I mean, that's first game of the season. You had 2 scrimmages, and then you're going into a first. And people were talking about Louisville. I thought they were a pretty good defensively team.
Yeah,
their front 3 or 4 were pretty good.
Well, they had 7 guys back from last year, and 5 of them were in the box. So, and Louisville. Look back the last 50 years. I mean, they're a good football. They just been down the last few years, but I think this coach is doing a great job to fix it. And they had a coach, Paul Farrer, that brought them to the regionals and the semis and even the state finals on several occasions. And then he resigned and went on to, his daughters were really good softball players, and he went on and followed them. And the next hire wasn't exactly what they wanted. And he was there a year now, so.
They had a big crowd of people they brought with them, too.
It was a nice crowd. It was a really nice opening crowd, and I thought that, and I still wasn't upset. I mean, I know we made some dumb plays, but the enthusiasm, especially during the game and even after the game, was top-notch, and I'll take that every time.
And you talked about working on the kickoffs too. Also, Coach, I know how your kickoffs were getting inside the 10 every time you kicked off. Out of the 4 times that you did.
The kicking helps the game, right?
Yeah, it helps a lot.
We went from kicking on the 30 to kicking, to the 10, even into the 4-yard line one time. Yeah. And plus, that Coach Arlesi did a really good job of placing a net around the ball, and our kids understand what he wants. And hopefully we can just keep improving on that. If we can just improve every day, and not much. You don't have to improve much. Just improve every day, even if it's a minute improvement. We'll take it.
You got the first win. You got it over the hump. You got rid of that. You're excited. You don't want to talk about being a coach. How do you get ready to prepare your team for New Philadelphia after a big win at home and going on the road this week?
Well, I think that I'm glad we're going on the road because I think that it made us focus. We focused. We were really focused yesterday and today, and we didn't have a good practice yesterday, but only because certain things ruin a whole practice. You can be perfect, then something happens here or something happens there, and it just ruins the whole practice. But we finished strong yesterday. Defensively, we finished really strong. And I can't harp enough on the attitude and the enthusiasm that our players come up with every day.
It's always nice for a defense. Of course, you want to keep the other team out of the end zone, which they did. So opening game of the season to start off with a shutout, that's they got to be pretty happy about it. And I think you guys would be happy about that, too.
Well, we're happy with a shutout. Believe me, I'm happy with a win. I don't care if it's 21-20. I'm happy with a win, and I think that one thing I've learned, and I learned at a young age: respect your opponent. No matter what they have or what you have, respect your opponent. And if they're bad, put yourself in their shoes. How would they be with you? They probably wouldn't be much better.
Yeah.
So we just respect our opponent. We want to play to win the game. And if it's 21-20, we'll take it. If it's 35-0, we'll take it. That game could have been 40-something-0. That game could have been 7-7 at the end of the half. So that's how close a football game is. And and I believe that. We could have had 28 points at the half, or it could have been 7-7. That's the difference in one play or 2 plays making a game.
Defensively, I know how was the adjustment? I know you, like you said, going from the 4-3 to the 3-4 this year.
It's an adjustment. We're still learning, but we probably have about 1/5 of our defense in, but we're taking it slow because we want to be good at what we do. So we're only running 2 coverages right now with 3 fronts, but we want to be good at it, and I thought we did a good job at it Friday night.
I thought your 4 middle linebackers all can run to the football pretty well, and they were all of them had major tackles up there, so they can. Is that why you changed to the 3-4?
Well, we probably changed to the 3-4 to have less gaps in the secondary, and with the 3-4, you're still rushing forward. They just don't know where that fourth guy is coming from. The right inside, the left inside, or the right outside, or left outside, or even the strong safety. So, you're really rushing 4, but you're showing 3, and hopefully they got to guess where the other one's coming from. And, we preach late and fast. We want the blitz to come late, and we want it to be fast. We don't try not to show it early, but sometimes, the guy takes you so far from the ball, you have to show where you're going, to be able to get there on time.
Yeah. Well, Coach, we'll take our first break since they just set my food here. And we'll be back right back with the Reno Saccoccia Show, brought to you by Fort Steuben Maintenance.
You better have an hour break if you're going to eat all that.
Jeez.
Got a sidewalk that needs replaced, or maybe your roof is leaking? How about some new windows? Who do you call? Fort Steuben Maintenance, that's who. Commercial or residential, they can handle most any project, big or small. They also do new construction and renovations. So get a free estimate by calling Fort Steuben Maintenance today and get them started on your next project. 740-283-4890 for Fort Steuben Maintenance. Naples Spaghetti House since 1923, located in downtown Steubenville at 329 North Street. Great food, great bread, and great atmosphere. You can dine in or call in to carry out. They have monthly and weekly specials. Just visit NaplesSpaghettiHouse.com to see all the current specials, or look them up on Facebook. Naples Spaghetti House in Steubenville is closed on Mondays and open 11 to 7 Tuesday through Friday and noon to 7 on weekends. To call in an order, it's 740-283-3405. 740-283-3405. Naples Spaghetti House since 1923.
You're listening to Ohio Valley Sports Online, the sports authority. If you want to get your message heard, visit us on Facebook and leave a message. Ohio Valley Sports Online is on any connected device, phones, tablets, smart TVs. Follow us on Facebook, and don't forget to subscribe free to our YouTube page. Type in OVSO. You will get immediately notified the instant we go live with our next broadcast.
Fort Steuben Maintenance should be your first choice when it comes to any and all construction projects, whether it's commercial or residential. Make Fort Steuben Maintenance your first call. You can rely on them to be the experts when it comes to roofing, concrete, plumbing, carpentry, just about any job that needs done. Fort Steuben Maintenance, they're fully licensed and bonded, and will even give you a free estimate. Fort Steuben Maintenance. You want the number? 740-283-4890.
Welcome back, everyone, to Bennigan's with the Reno Saccoccia Show. Steubenville High School Big Red as they win to 21-0 over Louisville in first game of the season. It's the fastest 10 weeks of the year. 1 week down, and everybody healthy for this coming week coming up. Anything to report?
Healthy as we could be. Nobody's out of action. They might not get as much playing time as we'd like for them to, but nobody's out of action.
New Philly coming off that, they got an opening win at home against a pretty good Division III team.
That was a really physical game. It was a great game, and New Philadelphia inserted a sophomore quarterback into the starting role for the first time. There were two scrimmages they played. The athlete that played last year, and number 11 did a remarkable job leading this team to victory on Friday night.
Was it mostly running, Coach? What I was reading in some articles today was
both teams were getting after it on the ground. Mm-hmm. They probably can both throw the ball, but they were both having success on the ground, and that's where they stayed for the most part.
Now that there's you get to go on the road for the first time, and added on to the fact that it's your first road game, is the fact that you got construction problems. Route 250, it's closed, and how much is that going to add to your trip, and is that just how you approach?
7 minutes.
Yeah,
that's all. We'll be fine. It's all we're doing is looking for ways to win, not No excuse. I mean, Louisville had to ride down here. I think they came across and down 11-7. So everybody had different ways to get there. But we had a couple coaches that went there, and we'll be fine.
Talking about them, you said it was mostly a running game because it was a pretty fast game. Just talking to Chris Snyder, just telling us a little bit about the game. He was like, it was really fast. Like you said, everybody wanted to run the ball. Do they throw it? Did they throw it?
They throw it, but I'm saying that the success for both teams came on the ground. They both threw the ball, good, but their game plan must have been to be on the ground, and that's especially that's the strength of New Philly. Their offensive and defensive line. They got a running back, and they got the box back on defense, and that's the strength of their game. So you have to be able to stop it. New Philly, people don't look at New Philly the way that they show. I mean, they're physical, and they have athletes, and we play them in a lot of sports now, and they have good coaching, and they have good athletes.
Is there anything coming up for this game that you want to do any differently? Is there any different formation, anything, surprises you want to try?
I don't know if we can run any more formations than we do, but we are a formation-oriented team, but we only run 3 or 4 running plays, and our passing basically comes off our running plays. And like I said, we've added a little bit of just shotgun with Phaeton because he throws the ball pretty well. But our game is off the running game, and it's been successful for the last 40 years, so we're not going to change now.
Does it concern you a little bit if New Philly can keep the ball away from you because they're a ground team? Because you're going to lose maybe some. I don't know what your stats are, how many times you want to have the ball, because they can cut the game down a little bit.
I don't even get into that. I mean, just when we get the ball, we want to be the best team we can be. And if it's 3 possessions, then we want to be the best team we can be. If it's 20, we want to be, no matter what, we just want to be the best team we can be. If they're keeping the ball from us, that means they aren't scoring either. Yeah. So, just take advantage of the possessions that you have, value every down, keep your ears on in the huddle. Every word is important. And, if we run 32 or 32 Troy, that's a altogether different play, but it's only one word change. So, you got to keep your ears on.
Who designed your plays, Coach, offensively? You guys.
I didn't hear you.
Who designed your plays? Who comes
the
up with the
offensive
ideas?
coordinator designs the plays, and normally I don't think I'd ever have an offensive coordinator that wasn't the offensive line coach, because I feel that it's easy to make a play up, but now you got to block it. So. And I think that's important. So I would never have a laid-back defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
So that's just me. I want my offensive line coach to be my offensive coordinator. And, some teams have gone to run game coordinators and pass game coordinators. But all in all, your passing comes off your running. And I don't care if you throw the ball 90% of the time, you still have to run the ball at times. And I haven't seen anybody in Ohio high school football run the complete spread and win the state championship, at least in our division. So yep. You could say Kenton 10 years ago, but yeah. Kenton's quarterback rushed for
mock
2,000 yards. Well, both mocks. And,
right.
If you have a quarterback like that, I'd run the spread too. And if I had a tailback that can throw the ball like him. So, I think that in Ohio, you have to be able to beat the weather. You have to be able to beat the opponent. You have to be able to beat a lot of things. And look at the Clinton Massey and Ursuline game last year. There's a million examples.
New Philly defensively, Coach, you said they got a lot of guys coming back in the box. What kind of defense are they going to play? Are they going to play 3-4, 4-4?
They play a 3-4. They want to play a 5-3. But if you allow them to play a 5-3, they'll play it. If you spread out, then they'll be in a 3-4. So
This team is usually known, coaches, as we've seen them. They scored a lot of points over the last several years, usually average per game, and only getting a touchdown the other night. Has that changed their way of thinking? Are they just grinded out team now, or is that just what happened?
I think sometimes you just get into a mode, and like the CBCA, they had really, really good success between the tackles, and they had almost no success going outside. But they felt like they had to go outside sometimes just to keep you honest, and just like in the passing game, sometimes you throw the ball to keep to help the offensive running game, and sometimes you throw the ball to help the passing game. But sometimes your run sets up your pass, sometimes your pass sets up your run, and it's just something that everybody has to be on the same page.
Yeah.
I know you like to move on to year, but the last time you was up there, I believe it was 31-0. I remember I was on the sideline.
It was bad, yeah.
It was when you went up there on the road 2 years ago, and I think this group of seniors were sophomores.
Was it 31-0 at the end of the first quarter, or was that the final
That
score?
was the final.
Yeah.
That was the final. But this group of seniors were sophomore on that. A lot of them guys were playing as sophomores.
It's never been mentioned. It's this year. It's your time. 19 seniors. It's the last time you'll play. It's going to be over the snap of a finger. Play as hard as you can for as long as you can. Have as much fun as you can on Friday night, because Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is not going to be fun. Yeah. If Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is fun, then you're not going to have fun on Friday.
So 5-5 or 4-6 at the end of the year. If it's
whatever, or 9-1, but you're not going to get to where you want to be. We've had a lot of undefeated teams. Pretty sad at the end of the year, and it's all in your expectations. It's all in your expectations. Ohio football is not like it was 50 years ago. Ohio football is play as hard as you can for 10 weeks and hope you're good enough to get in the playoffs. And right now it's even changed the last year. We don't even count making the playoffs in 20 and 21 because everybody made it.
Yeah.
So what good is that? Your goal has to change now. So our goal is to get in the top 4 so we can play 2 home games. So as things change, your goals have to change. But your bottom line never changes. You want to be the best team you can be for as many weeks as you can be, and hopefully you're there at the end. And if you're not there at the end, hopefully you got beat by a team that was much better than you, but you played as hard as you could and as best as you can. And that's all you can ask of these guys.
And then getting into I like how you said that, and injury-free is the key, too, sometimes. Make sure you stay injury-free, because last year was a big thing, and I know we're on this year, but, if you can stay injury-free, that helps.
Yeah, the big thing is, are you injured or are you hurt?
Yeah.
The longer the season goes on, the more hurt you are, but you're not injured. When even after a game on Saturday morning, if you're not sore, if you're not hurting, then you didn't do a whole lot. But there's a big difference between injured and hurt. I'm hurt, and I didn't do anything. But my legs are still sore, my neck's still sore, from nerves probably. But I don't know. I don't know if I answered your question, but
no, just all the coaches are a little bit different.
Do you think a catcher is more hurt after a game than a center fielder?
Yes.
Why?
You're squatting.
Right. You're doing
walking
things.
Balls, you're squatting.
Whose arm hurts the most, the pitcher or the left fielder?
Pitcher.
Everybody's sore after a game in a different way.
Our last question I just want to ask. I know you said you played 29 guys offensively. How many did you play defensively? Because I know you were subbing a little bit.
Well, we subbed a lot on the front line. We played 8 defensive linemen in 3 positions, and we played 3 linebackers in 2 positions. So that's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We played 19 kids defensively. And that's a lot. Normally we play about 15 or 16, but
all the guys were getting to the football. I like how they rallied to the football when there was a tackle made. They were always around the football.
It was just a very, very enthusiastic, performance that our players really looked like they were having fun out there. Even when we made a mistake, I mean, it was our players were behind it. That's so important, man. That's so important that it's not me, it's we. And especially in football. I mean, selfish is a bad word in anything, but in athletics, selfish is like the devil. Yeah. As far as athletics are concerned, and it just made me so happy just to see guys. We should add a penalty after the interception that Bugs had. Yeah. Should have been a penalty. We had 50 guys on the field. Yeah. So and I have to go over that tomorrow. I didn't say anything the first 3 days because I didn't want to curb their enthusiasm. But tomorrow tomorrow then we got to go over some certain things, and that's got to be one of them. They could have flagged us after that, and they could have flagged us after Bozika's touchdown. Yeah. And we just got to be aware of that.
It just looked like, I like the saying that you guys both say when you're talking to Steubenville coaches, it's not who does it, it's we do it. We do. It doesn't make a difference who scores, we did it. It seems like that was the motto.
And that's most schools. Yeah. That's most schools. And sometimes in high school football, a game's lost at the supper table. Yeah. By the parents criticizing the coach because you're not playing enough, or the parents criticizing one of the players because he's not playing good enough, and supper table loses some games, and coaches lose some games, and players. But it's I just like the fact that our seniors are taking a leadership role, and I think that's important. When your coaches are the leaders, you can have a good team, but when your players and your seniors are the leaders, I mean, you can really, really be good, and that's what I'm hoping that we develop the most is senior leadership or good player leadership. Yeah. If it's not a senior.
Well, Coach, we're going to let you go. We'll congratulate you one more time on becoming the winningest Ohio high school football coach. I got one word with you on the sideline. You made me run. I can't run, Coach. Don't make me run. Slow down.
Made you run?
You made me run. But we appreciate you coming, being sponsored by Fort Steuben Maintenance, and it's a great accomplishment, Coach. I know you don't want to take credit for it.
Mr. Saltzman does so much for not just Big Earth football, but Steubenville, period. I mean, Mr. Saltzman, he's there. None of this wait a minute. Yeah. I mean, he's there, and he's ready to help, and I really appreciate him. And his son did a great job for us. Cody was a really good football player.
All right, Coach. Well, we'll talk to you next Wednesday, hopefully with the win on the road this Friday night, 7 o'clock in New Philadelphia.
Yep.
Good luck.
Coach.
I hope you're there. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Got a sidewalk that needs replaced, or maybe your roof is leaking? How about some new windows? Who do you call? Fort Steuben Maintenance, that's who. Commercial or residential, they can handle most any project, big or small. They also do new construction and renovations. So get a free estimate by calling Fort Steuben Maintenance today and get them started on your next project. 740-283-4890 for Fort Steuben Maintenance.
This is Ohio Valley Sports Online, your connection to Ohio Valley sports. Listen anywhere in the world from any connected device, smartphone, tablets, iPads, and computers. Ohio Valley Sports Online brings you live game action from the guys with over 50 years in radio sports broadcasting.
Got a sidewalk that needs replaced, or maybe your roof is leaking? How about some new windows? Who do you call? Fort Steuben Maintenance, that's who. Commercial or residential, they can handle most any project, big or small. They also do new construction and renovations. So get a free estimate by calling Fort Steuben Maintenance today and get them started on your next project. 740-283-4890 for Fort Steuben Maintenance. Thanks, Fort Steuben Maintenance, for sponsoring Big Red head football coach Reno Saccoccia on the Ohio Valley Sports Online Coaches Show.
Everhart Bove Funeral Home, they believe you should take care of your loved ones while you still can. Pre-planning at Everhart Bove ensures that your family won't have to worry about the stress of final arrangements during this most difficult time. More importantly, they won't have to worry about how they'll pay for it. Visit Everhart Bove Funeral Home today and discover all the affordable options available. Everhart Bove Funeral Home, Wintersville, Richmond, and Burgolds.
Meet Josh.
Hi, everybody.
Josh is a high school basketball player, solid shooter, great teammate.
Hey, don't forget my tenacious D.
And he's my son.
Oh,
So, what does Josh do to be the best basketball player he can be?
I play tennis.
Studies show that student athletes here in Ohio who play more than one high school sport are more likely to excel. Tennis does more than improve Josh's conditioning. It gives him a fresh competitive outlet, reduces the risk of injury by cross-training, and introduces him to different coaching techniques and new friends.
Don't get me wrong, hoops are my first love. Tennis just gives me a little break.
So when the new season begins, Josh isn't burned out on basketball. He's eager to play, and you can see the difference in his game.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association. It may not require a textbook, but it's filled with valuable lessons. It may not take place in a classroom, but it's an ideal environment for learning. It may not involve a diploma, but it can help prepare Ohio's young people for life. It's high school sports. High school sports can play a critical role in a student's overall education. In fact, studies show that students that participate in high school sports are more likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in their academic lives. If you think high school sports are only about competition, think again. Better yet, think about attending a high school sporting event in your community. You'll be amazed by what you see. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
This is Ohio Valley Sports Online, your connection to Ohio Valley sports. Listen anywhere in the world from any connected device, smartphone, tablets, iPads, and computers. Ohio Valley Sports Online brings you live game action from the guys with over 50 years in radio sports broadcasting.
This is Jerry Snodgrass, Executive Director of the Ohio High School Athletic Association. One of my long-standing goals is to help people understand that high school sports are about so much more than wins and losses. The OHSAA promotes education-based athletics, where sports are an extension of the classroom. Our schools all want to win. There's no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, it's all about sportsmanship, leadership, and making certain that academics are a priority. Thank you for your support of high school sports in Ohio.
Thanks, Everhard Bowe Funeral Home, for sponsoring Indian Creek head coach Andrew Connor on the Ohio Valley Sports Online Coaches Show.
And we're back here at Bennigan's, where the high school coaches show, the Indian Creek portion of the coaches show, sponsored by Bowe Everhard Funeral Home. Coach, as always, pleasure having you here. Thanks for coming
very
once
much.
again.
Thank you.
Rough start, not the start you wanted. I said, go right into the game and, give me some, you know how I am, give me some of the positives you took from the game and then, some of the negatives.
Well, I think our kids played hard. I mean, that's the first point you always want. You want your kids to play really hard, and I thought we did. And, we just had some breakdowns. Defensively, we had some, plays where, they caught us in some stuff that, allowed them to get some big plays. And, I thought our kids, continued to play hard even after some of the bad breaks that went against us. And, I think offensively we moved the ball pretty well. I think we ended up close to 200 yards rushing. We just, we couldn't put the ball in the end zone. We had some opportunities, and, we just kind of bogged down a little bit in the red zone. But, I saw some, positives on both sides there. I thought our tackling was at times good, but, just not consistent enough to where you want it to be. And I thought that, we ran the ball very well. And, so overall, I would say that, we could see what we did mistake-wise, and I thought we had a really good week of practice and trying to fix some of those mistakes.
Offensively, you're saying you had 200 yards rushing. I mean, when you're talking about this slowing it down, was it penalties? Or just getting behind the chains? Instead of being 2nd and 4, you're 2nd and 10.
It just, it was a variety of things. You know, it was just, one drive it was this, one drive it was that. Just there was no central thing that you could say, ended up hurting us. We found different ways to hurt ourselves. And, again, like I said, I thought we moved the ball well. I thought, we were able to mix up different running backs. Zion carried most of the time. McGee and had a really good game in his first true start as a sophomore. And I thought our offensive line did well. Again, just Cambridge kind of got us sometimes, I think, on experience. And, their kids have played for a while. And, kudos to their quarterback. I thought, Cade Moore played, a great game. We tried a bunch of different things. We tried to blitz him, and, we tried to, kind of shadow or mirror him a couple times. And, he seemed like he, almost like he knew what we were going to do before we did it. So, hats off to him and Coach Leaks. And I thought Cambridge, played well, and I thought we did at times, but just not enough to beat them.
And from what it sounded like, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I know last year, the games that we did and the games that talking to you, seemed like your defense was stout for first down, second down, and maybe one big play changed the whole game. It just and it sounded like that was the case Friday night.
Yeah, well, like I said, it was just one of those things. You did well to put him in a bad spot, and then he just made a really good play to get him out of the bad spot. And
right.
And some of the times we were close. We'd be close on pressure. We were close on the play coverage. I mean, they got us a couple times on formations. We didn't make the right checks, and that falls on me. I mean, that's part of making your kids prepared. So that's something we worked on. This week, but I thought overall, like I said, even in the fourth quarter, our kids didn't have their heads down. There was nothing negative other than the other team just beat us. It wasn't like we had anything else going on, and I think the kids learned a valuable lesson. I think they took that on films on Saturday, and I think we really had a good week of practice trying to get ready for East Liverpool.
How many? I didn't get to read the paper. How many quarterbacks did you play? The one quarterback, or did you play two?
We played two.
You played two.
I mean, they both had good moments in that. It's part of, kind of growing into that. I mean, we had same thing from any of our kids. I mean, the big thing for me and the thing that I've stressed all week was it's really hard to win a football game if the number one word you're going to come with is inconsistency. And that's basically what hurt us the most. I mean, two good offensive plays and a bad one. Two good defensive plays and a bad one. We cover well on a punt once. Second time we don't, they return it and they flip the field on something, we were hoping to kind of pin them down and, make them drive the field. You can't give, a good football team the ball and they actually gained yards on a punt. That's not going to help you any.
Yeah, and I just wondered with the attitude, the mentality, how do the kids handle it? Because you never, you don't want to be down early, but did they finish strong for you? And that's something you got to look for.
Yeah, like I said, we went in halftime, and we just missed right before the half. Maybe getting a touchdown, and that could have sunk us a little bit. I mean, because you have a football team down 14, we were down there, and we just missed on a pass play, and I thought the kids responded well after half. And like I said, it isn't so much that they lined up and just pounded us down. And we couldn't stop him. He's just a good quarterback, and he made some good throws. And the one thing they did to us was they spread us out and they kind of put us in a bind. And I think they just kind of figured out what we were trying to do, and they responded well to it. But I thought on both sides of the ball, the kids we put in, the kids that were subbing in, I thought at no point in the game when you were watching us play would you look at us and say they were down 2 scores or 3 scores. Our kids were still trying. They were still playing hard. I was proud of the coaches. I thought they were coaching hard. So, I think that's something for us to build on. I think our effort is something for us, and I think we have during the week. I thought we had a great week of practice. We've gone live a couple of days this week. Most schools don't do that. We did. I thought the kids didn't look at it as a punishment. They looked at it as we're trying to get better. And, even today I saw, an extra step in, the way we practice. It was hot out. We didn't pout. We didn't feel sorry for ourselves. I'm hoping a good week of practice built on what we take from the good we take from Friday night's game, will help us on this coming Friday against East Liverpool.
Well, being at home, and you were talking about the youth, do you think playing at home and getting that first game under your belt, going into week 2, maybe they know what the taste is now, and maybe they can carry it over into week 2?
And it could. I mean, to me, like I said, I've told everybody, we talked about the youth back in the beginning of the season, and now, to me it's kind of a dead issue to me. So I told the kids, one of the things you learn is, we were beaten on Friday. You go back on Saturday, you look at those things, and you have two choices. You could try to find an excuse or a reason for what went wrong, or you say, listen, we know for us to get better, we've got to take that film and build and correct the things we didn't do well. And I think the kids responded well to that. I think, when we were watching the film, you could tell, there were a lot of kids who just owned up. They said, Coach, that's on me. And I think that's part of the maturation process of a program. If you want to turn the page and you want to start moving forward and taking stride, it first got to start with, it started with me. I told them on Friday night. I mean, obviously, we got beat. I'm the boss. It starts with me. I must not have done a very good job. I owned up to that. I think the kids owned up to it on Saturday to themselves. And I think we all put that behind us. And, I think we really practiced well on those 3 days so far this week.
And that's all you can ask, for, like you said, the kids to – that's huge for the kids to own up to, hey, there's some things we can do better. How are they, what was I looking for? Injury-wise, are we okay? I mean, everything
I thought we came out of the game, with a couple bumps and bruises, but I thought overall, the team looked, fine Saturday morning, and all our kids practiced on Friday again, or Monday, and that, again, says a lot too. I mean, because you could lose a game and then everybody's hurt, or guys find reasons. That didn't happen. Our kids, responded well, and I thought, from a coaching staff, from our meeting on Sunday to what we implemented and been doing during the week, I think our kids feel like they're on the right page. And East Liverpool's a big rivalry game. It's been a big rivalry game for Indian Creek, since Indian Creek was there, 30 years ago. So, I think the kids are excited. It's a game that they play against those kids in the junior high, and I think, we're at home. It's, our alumni night. We're going to have back a ton of alumni. I think it's their moment that they'd really like to show that we're taking that next step, and I think they're excited to do that. And I think we were kind of, energized. They want to get back on the football field. I feel like we saw there were good things there, and we want to really kind of, take those good things and run with them on Friday night.
We'll take our first break here, Coach. Andrew Connor Show sponsored by Everhart Bow Funeral Home. We'll be right back, and we'll talk about this week's opponent, East Liverpool Potters.
Everhart Bow Funeral Home, they believe you should take care of your loved ones while you still can. Pre-planning at Everhart Bow ensures that your family won't have to worry about the stress of final arrangements during this most difficult time. More importantly, they won't have to worry about how they'll pay for it. Visit Everhart Bow Funeral Home today and discover all the affordable options available. Everhart Bow Funeral Home, Wintersville, Richmond, and Burgolds.
Question. When you walk into the boardrooms of the most successful companies here in Ohio, who do you meet? Answer. Men and women who played high school sports. Education-based high school sports give us more than athletes we can root for. They give us leaders we can depend on. Question. So where will we find tomorrow's leaders? Answer. High school sports.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Thanks, Everhart Bow Funeral Home, for sponsoring Indian Creek head coach Andrew Connor on the Ohio Valley Sports Online Coaches Show.
I can't believe we have to make this commercial.
It's ridiculous.
You'll think it's ridiculous too. Listen to this.
This commercial is about, it's about parents being rude at high school athletic events.
Ridiculous, right?
It gets worse. Studies show more than 75% of new high school officials are quitting because of bad adult behavior.
So now there's a shortage of refs here in Ohio, in almost all sports.
No officials means no more games.
Is that what you want for us?
Come on, parents.
It's time to grow up.
Cheer for your team.
Be proud of your children.
But stop being so ridiculous.
And don't make us run another commercial.
Because we will.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
It may not require a textbook, but it's filled with valuable lessons. It may not take place in a classroom, but it's an ideal environment for learning. It may not involve a diploma, but it can help prepare Ohio's young people for life. It's high school sports. High school sports can play a critical role in a student's overall education. In fact, studies show that students that participate in high school sports are more likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in their academic lives. If you think high school sports are only about competition, think again. Better yet, think about attending a high school sporting event in your community. You'll be amazed by what you see. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
And we're back here at Bennigan's with Coach Andrew Connor from the Indian Creek Redskins. Coach, it's your 20th year, correct?
It is my 20th year.
Congratulations.
Thank you very
awesome.
much.
That's a major milestone. And, let's go right into this week's opponent. First, we'll break it down the offense. What's the part, like you said, it's a rivalry game. It's, East Liverpool, right up Route 7, Indian Creek. These kids have been playing each other, since junior high school. What do they bring to the table? What kind of offense do we expect to see?
Well, we got to look at them twice on film. The first one was against Columbia and Crestview in their scrimmage, their preview game. And then we got to see them play Minerva, who they beat last week pretty handily. And basically, they're a run-oriented team. The new coach there, Don Phillips, we had actually coached against each other in an all-star game back in 2012. He was in Pennsylvania at the time, and he had the Pennsylvania all-star team, and me and my staff were fortunate enough to have the Ohio all-star team in the Quad County game. And he told me during that period he loves running the ball, and they do run the ball. They run, basically 4 plays we have to stop that we practice against. They're a big buck sweep, a trap, counter tray, and ISO team, and that's what they do. I think we had them down at somewhere around 90% of the time they're going to run the ball, and their passing game is basically boot off of that, all that play action, and they like to throw short, and their quarterback is kind of a dual threat. He's able to throw the football for them, but he does a lot of the running. He does a lot of the counter tray, a lot of the different stuff there. So they have a big bruising fullback, number 44 for them. He's kind of an old school kid, likes run the trap, likes run the ISO. And then they have 2 very big offensive guards. The Ludwig boy, who's going to on a full ride to Toledo. He plays their left guard, and they have another big guard on the right side. I think both their guards are about like 6'6", nearly 300 pounds. So they do a lot of trapping, a lot of pulling. They actually move pretty well for being as big as they are. So that's what we need to stop offensively. And then on the flip side of that, defensively, they have all their guys in the box. Against Minerva, they played almost entirely man-to-man and tried to put as many guys in the box to stop the run. And they were very, very successful against Minerva of, being able to stunt into, a lot of different gaps and really forcing Minerva, into some really long yardage situations, something obviously we don't want to have. So, we need to stop them from their blitzing. And then offensively, we need to stop those 4 plays. We need to do a good job reading our keys and stopping those 4 plays.
So you're talking about that. So they're going to put a lot of guys in the box, or you guys going to have to throw the ball to be successful?
Well, I mean, sometimes, you beat your head against a rock. I'm going to still beat my head against that rock in football. So, but, I think that, our passing game is something that we've been working on. And, we feel okay throwing the football. We just prefer to run the ball. But, obviously we're not going to do, something to the detriment of our football program. If they're going to walk everybody up there, then, we're going to throw the ball to try to get them out of that. But, we really do want to obviously set up our rushing game, which we think, took some pretty good steps forward last week against Cambridge.
No, they'll be playing on, and maybe I should even ask if you want to answer. It's not the 2 quarterback system, or
we're kind of leaning towards letting them both play. We may flip it around on who goes first and who goes second, but as of right now, like I've said last week, there's no reason why you can't have 2 kids ready to play, and then you play the hot hand of those 2 kids, kind of like you would with a running back. Last week Zion really carried the ball well. We kept giving him the ball. But we have other running backs, and this week maybe somebody else will be the hot hand. You ride the hot hand. So, for us, it's kind of nice to have both because in an era where sadly kids get injured, and it's nice to know that the other guy is ready to go right away. You have to tailor your offense a different way. Both guys get the same reps. Both guys can run the offense. So I feel good with either guy in the game that, we'd be able to use. Coach Hammock could call any play he wanted, and we won't have to tailor down the offense based on who's playing quarterback.
That's the key. Is if you can run the ball, pound your head against it, and get some yards, then they'll play action, maybe open something up down the field for you guys. Minerva-wise, I know it's tough to see. You watch a film. Minerva's been down the last couple of years. It's tough to get a read off a game. You see scores in the paper, and a coach. I hate to tell you, coaches lie. They just won't tell you. They won't tell you the truth,
I
man.
have no idea what you're talking about.
You ask them.
This is a hypothetical something I'm not sure.
So you ask them. So, well, how good was Minerva, or was Liverpool just not much better, or was Minerva having a down year?
Most of the time when you watch, you kind of just watch, the team you're playing. I mean,
yeah.
And in my opinion, the things that you got out of Liverpool that impressed me, no matter who they were playing, was just how big they were and how physical they were. And that is something that when Liverpool is Liverpool, and that is the Liverpool that everybody kind of grows up in this area knows, they're a physical, big football team. And that's what they have right now. They have an offensive line that's big. They like running the football, and they are committed to it. This is not something that maybe they're committed to running it. They have a typical East Liverpool fullback. Right. He even wears number 44. That's a typical East Liverpool. They've got some skilled guys who can run, and they're committed to running the football. So to me, it really doesn't matter who you're playing against. If that's your commitment and you show that you can do it, and they did, that's a concern for us. I just don't want a team to line up and kind of will themselves on us. So we have practiced a lot this week of making sure that we are reading our keys, that we are going to fit. Okay, our run fits are going to be good between our linebackers, our line, even our secondary, that we're going to kind of sneak down in a little bit. We want to make sure our run fits are good, our responsibilities are done well, and our fundamentals are good. That's going to be the key to us playing. It's not going to be so much a schematic thing of we're going to send this guy this. It's got to be that we can play our base defense and do the small things correctly, and that's what we worked on all week.
Yeah, it's sort of – actually, I stole my thunder. That was going to be my next question. Defensively, do you say what they like to do, that this is Liverpool – do we concentrate on fundamental and run the same defense, our basic defense, or without giving your plan away, have a few wrinkles?
Well, I would say starting off the bat, the key thing to us is we need to have some success just running our base defense. But we've done things where we've seen on film that would aid us. But again, if you're grab bagging or grasping, then you've got troubles. You want those other wrinkles and things to be done because you've got some success, and now you've got them maybe kind of on their heels, and then you're able to hit them with those things. And it's the same offensively. I think, our base offense, is something, that we did well last week. We just need to get a couple breaks early and finish some of those drives. Yeah. There's a big difference between, that 7-0 lead that's yours or a 7-7 because it takes a little pressure off it. I just felt in the game we were pressing because that when they got to 14-0, it just felt like our kids were trying to score 14 points on one play, or we were trying to do that defensively, and then all of a sudden you do something that's not in your characteristic. And I think we had some moments there that we were uncharacteristically doing things that we hadn't done in the summer, kind of pressing ourselves to make that big play.
That's the key when we talk about the first game out is getting the lead and make somebody chase you, especially for a team that likes to run the football, because if you got a lead, you can sometimes put your will on people, and it's tough when you're down 14-0 and a team that wants to run the football has to throw it now. Or 21-0, now you got to open it up and you got to throw it all the time.
And it's just the mindset, too. Yeah. I think there's a mindset when you're in a game and you feel like, okay, we don't need to score on this play. And I think we got in that moment where we were on both sides of the ball trying to press either to get the big turnover and then maybe doing something that was uncharacteristic. Or on offense, we're like I said, we're trying to score 14 points on one play, and then all of a sudden that pressing gets you out of that comfort zone. We need to play a little more comfortable than we did. We had moments of it, but I think there was a lot of times we weren't just as comfortable as we could have been, and that kind of came back, and it just felt at times there was a lot of pressure, tension on those kids, and it just didn't seem like we were playing Indian Creek football. It seemed like we were trying to do too much, and pressing ourselves into that.
Yeah, it's going to be a great atmosphere, like you said, alumni night. As usual, there's always a big crowd out there, and that great band out there. And how was everything with the parking lot?
Everything's a go, man. Like I said over and over, I can't thank the taxpayers enough for all they did and helping us with the school and all the things they did to help us there. And I just think again.
Meet Josh.
Hi.
No. I just think when you're there, it's just it's a cool setting to see the school, the locker room, stadium, parking lot, everything. it's just really a fantastic venue now, and I'm sure our student section, our band, all those our cheerleaders, they all did a great job last week. We just need them hang in there this week and give us the same type of attitude and effort, and we hope to get this thing turned around against East Liverpool.
Well, Coach, we'll let you go. Hopefully we're going to be out there Friday. I'll text Joe tonight when I get off of here, and hopefully he has a spot for us. Tell him don't give it away.
Okay, I will.
We'll see it out. Good luck to you Friday.
Thanks,
hopefully we'll see you here
Thank you.
next Wednesday getting a win over the East Liverpool Potters.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure.
Thank
Coach
you.
Andrew Connor, Indian Creek Redskins. This portion is sponsored by Everhart Bow Funeral Home. Folks, if you're not at the game Friday, tune in to Ohio Valley Sports Online. We'll be back after these messages.
Thanks, Everhart Bow Funeral Home, for sponsoring Indian Creek head coach Andrew Connor on the Ohio Valley Sports Online Coaches Show.
Everhart Bow Funeral Home, they believe you should take care of your loved ones while you still can. Pre-planning at Everhart Bow ensures that your family won't have to worry about the stress of final arrangements during this most difficult time. More importantly, they won't have to worry about how they'll pay for it. Visit Everhart Bow Funeral Home today and discover all the affordable options available. Everhart Bow Funeral Home, Wintersville, Richmond, and Burgolds.
Question. When you walk into the boardrooms of the most successful companies here in Ohio, who do you meet? Answer. Men and women who played high school sports. Education-based high school sports give us more than athletes we can root for. They give us leaders we can depend on. Question. So where will we find tomorrow's leaders? Answer. High school sports.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association. It may not require a textbook, but it's filled with valuable lessons. It may not take place in a classroom, but it's an ideal environment for learning. It may not involve a diploma, but it can help prepare Ohio's young people for life. It's high school sports. High school sports can play a critical role in a student's overall education. In fact, studies show that students that participate in high school sports are more likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in their academic lives. If you think high school sports are only about competition, think again. Better yet, think about attending a high school sporting event in your community. You'll be amazed by what you see. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
The J.E. Foster Funeral Home has been proudly serving the communities of Toronto and Smithfield and all of Jefferson County for over 30 years. They are a family-owned funeral home, and they offer funeral and cremation services tailored to meet your needs, and they do so with professionalism, compassion, dignity, and respect. Jeff and Jay Foster would like to wish the best of luck to Toronto Red Knights and all of the teams up and down the Ohio Valley. If you or someone you know would like more information on how their family can help you guide your family in this time of need, please visit their website, www.jefosterfh.com. That is www.jefosterfh.com. Their motto, our emphasis on family carries over to yours. J.E. Foster Funeral Home, a proud sponsor of the Coaches Show.
More and more these days, it feels like sports are losing out to hype. Who dissed who? Who signed the fattest contract? Who got busted for cheating? Lost 2 is the unique capacity sports have to inspire us, to unite us. Well, great news, sports fans. Sports are still being played for the right reasons. They're still as entertaining as they are character building. You just have to know where to find it. And you only have to look as far as your local Ohio high school. You know, the place where the games are exciting, concessions are affordable, and the parking is free. Where the emphasis is on hustle and heart instead of hype. If you prefer real, honest-to-goodness sport played for all the right reasons, you'll find it at your hometown high school. High school sports. Games are being played this weekend at an Ohio high school near you. Okay, everybody, who's in?
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
And we're back here at Bennigan, folks. Join us each Wednesday for the high school coaches football show here. Toronto portion sponsored by, who is our sponsor?
J.E. Foster Funeral Home.
Sorry there, Jeff. I'm sorry. I can remember J.E. Foster swearing him back. I apologize. But Coach Josh Frankie, one of my favorite coaches around. Michigan fan, of course.
I'm out of here.
Coach, great start to the season. Big victory over dreaded rival.
Yeah.
At their place. And, just go ahead and take this. It started out with a bang with Dom early.
We did, yeah. I mean, listen, Dom Boucher, we questioned all summer whether anybody was going to kick to him. We were kind of surprised to see it right out the gate. But as soon as that ball went in the air and it was headed for him, I knew we were in for something big. So, and he delivered, man. He after he scored, I said, well, don't get used to it. That's probably the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you talk about it. It was a pretty close game until you opened it up probably in, I think, the third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, it was 14. It was 14-0 going into at halftime.
Yeah.
We end up scoring again, and then it ends up being 20-6 at some point. We had a snap go over our head in the end zone as 20-8, and then we ended up ripping off 2 more in the end. So.
Yeah. Well, win's a win. That's the way I look at it. Like every coach we've talked to says, don't make a difference. It's 23-20 or 52-0. You're still getting the same amount of computer points when it comes playoff time.
You're right. And, listen, at the end of the day, it's week 1. We have a lot of stuff we got to clean up. We had a couple of turnovers. We had, 3 or 4 bad snaps, 9 penalties. So it's just, that's the kind of stuff you expect for week 1. You're happy to get out of there with a win, go back, watch the film, and hope that kids can kind of learn from their mistakes.
What Coach Sack always say to us, there's no such thing as an ugly win.
No, yeah.
The next part of the show I was going to talk about was, some of the things, usually I start with some of the things you were impressed with from your team, and some of the things that you were not so happy. You already, you gave me the stuff that you were not so happy with.
Listen, that's how. Listen, I'll tell you, and I don't know. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's the coach in me. And you can tell our kids I'm a positive person in general, but when it comes to coaching football, I'm constantly picking out the negative and bad things, and I think sometimes I need to do a little bit better job of telling the kids when they're doing great jobs and they're doing their job correctly. And over the last couple of years, I've tried to make an emphasis on myself doing that. But I don't know. It's just the coach in me. You try to find the things that need corrected, and you correct them. And that's kind of, and I don't know, that's what your job is.
Give me some of the things, because, I know about Dom and, Zane and Zeb are just, phenomenal.
Yeah, they're
give me
specimens.
Some of the things that, you were positively happy with for game 1. With your team.
Sure. Listen, really happy with our defense. Able to come away with I believe it was 5 sacks in total. We have a little nose guard, Spencer Board. He's probably 5'6", 5'7". He's backup tailway. He's a little guy, and he was one of those guys that he is one of the most impressive kids we have in the weight room as far as strength. I mean, he's super strong. He's very deceptive in his strength. And, you look in the offseason, you try to find ways that you could kind of have guys fit into the system. And, we thought to ourselves, well, maybe we'll put him at nose. Maybe he'll be quick off the ball. And, man, that son of a gun is turning into a really good nose tackle for us. He's able to get back there really quick. He's right on top of it. And he's strong enough he doesn't get pushed around. So I was really impressed with him. Caden Benton, I think, played a really good game at defensive tackle, offensive tackle for us. Seth Thomas led the team in tackles with 13. So you look at some guys. We had some freshmen step up, too. We had Heath Thomas and Landon Jaworski played a number of snaps on the defensive line, recorded some sacks. So just overall, defensively, we knew going into the season our offense was going to be explosive with the weapons we have, but I guess we didn't really know what to expect out of the defense, and it seems like our defense might, at this point, be a little bit better than our offense, to be honest with you. And then our offense is pretty good, so
that's usually the other way around
right.
early in the season. Yeah.
Well, it gets back to, we talked about it last week, is you can have all the weapons you want unless your 5 guys up front are doing the job.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about how the offensive line handled, scoring 14 in the first half, you probably thought you would have more than that.
Well, to be honest with you, they were self-inflicted wounds. Our first offensive drive of the game, we were moving the ball, end up having a fumble, that they end up recovering. And then our second drive of the game, we drove down. We got it on their 10-yard line and went for it on 4th and 1, and somehow we came up short. And so it wasn't like we weren't moving the ball. It's just kind of, again, the self-inflicted wounds that we were dishing out to ourselves. And that's in that first half. Wellsville had an 8-minute drive at one point, and they didn't score in that. So, it's just one of those things. I think they did a good job of keeping the ball out of our offense's hands. And then again, we kind of had some self-inflicted stuff. But overall, I think the offensive line played good, and they created holes. And when you can create holes for Zane Kinsey, he can get that second level. He'll do the rest. He's going to do the rest.
Dom, either one of them. Silly question I got to ask for you, because the last time, I remember us doing the Wellsville-Toronto game, and there had to be 30 cramps. How were the conditions?
We had some cramps. We had a couple of kids. It wasn't as bad as I anticipated. I mean, you go into that week 1 game knowing that they're going to happen. Wellsville had plenty of cramps as well.
Yes, I remember that.
And I think we had in my head, I think we had 3 kids that cramped that we had to stop the game, get them out. Get them, try to get them hydrated again, get the fluids in them and get them back out there. But it wasn't as bad as I originally anticipated. And I'll tell you what, our trainer does a wonderful job, Jimmy Daly. He puts them on a strict hydration schedule. I mean, those kids are drinking 50% of their body weight in ounces a week or a day. I mean, and then they're getting the body armors, they're getting the water that has the electrolytes in it, and the alkaline water. I mean, he does an excellent job of making sure that they're putting into their body what needs to go in there. Now whether or not these kids aren't leaving the practice facility or drinking a pop or drinking an energy drink, or they're doing the pre-workout before they do a workout. I mean, it's hard to tell what they're putting in their bodies when they're not under our watch, but when they're under our watch, we're trying the best we can to make sure that they're hydrated properly and doing what they need to do to take care of the bodies.
Now, you're over week 1 now. Now you're trying to improve and get to week 2, and you're at home Friday, correct?
Yes, correct.
So how do you get your kids to get off of week 1 and move on to the second week?
Honestly, I don't think we've had to do much of that. Our kids, our kids expected and I don't want to sound it. Our kids expected to win Friday, and I think when they expected to win Friday and they won, it wasn't kind of like a big surprise to them. It wasn't a shock to them. It wasn't like we had to go celebrate. I think this team is focused on winning every week, being the best team they could possibly be, and when you have a team like that, you don't really have to bring them down. You know what I mean? And listen, we had film the next day on Friday. I'm real big on the coaching philosophy that when you win games, you got to be hard in film session on them, and when you lose games, you kind of take it light on film session, and maybe not get into them as much. So again, we had a tough film session. There was a little bit of yelling at them. There was a lot of correcting taking place, and pointing out mistakes where they were down, where they happened, and basically telling them like, hey, you guys won, but you didn't play your best football, and they know that. So again, I think they're fully focused on winning Friday night, and again going out and improving. And this is a different team. This is a special football team. I think.
And as far as injuries, we come, nothing.
No, yeah, we got out of there healthy, which is
great.
That's huge
amazing.
key for us. Yeah, huge key for us. We have to be able to stay healthy. Got out of there and didn't lose anybody, and I think we're ready to go for Friday. Pretty good health, I'd say. Best you can expect, at least.
That's awesome.
That's always the best thing when you can get out of a week of football without no injuries, no one nicked up. Everybody's like being sore. Every coach always says that. If you're not sore the day after a game, you didn't do nothing.
Well, we had that. I mean, and again, it goes back to our trainer. We had them after film. They did a large plyometric stretch and a little bit of run to get the lactic acid out, and then we threw them in. We get those huge trash cans, fill them up with ice and water. Jimmy, our trainer, makes sure that water temperature is about 55 degrees, and they take about a 10-minute dunk in those garbage cans. So again, it's all about we know that we're low on numbers. We know we have a small roster, and we got to take care of the guys that we have. So we're making sure that we're doing everything we can to get their bodies refreshed. And listen, that was a physical, hard-hitting game. It really was. So, the fact that we got out of there, I'm sure our kids were sore and beat up a little bit, but hopefully we got that all taken care of.
Yeah, what was you thinking scheduling Edison and Barnesville back-to-back, and you got 28 kids?
Listen, man, it's just how it works out. And again, it's like I told you last week. We do not shy away from competition. It's we're not going to shy away from physical schools. I mean, we're there to play football. Our kids want to play football, and they want to play against the best talent. Yeah.
I'm going to say one thing I like, because you say that, and I love it because you guys are a physical football team,
right?
And I mean, you have the speed, you have the finesse, but you are a physical football, and I love that. Well,
unless I think we kind of build our teams to be that way, and I think that's a staple of Toronto Red Knight football since as long as I can remember. Is that we might not win every game, but you're going to know you played us when you left.
And to me, that's a staple of the Valley. I always tell people, like when I'm working out of town, they ask me about Steubenville. I said everybody in our area. So everybody thinks they can beat everybody,
right?
And that's how we grow up. That's how, and that's how you win.
You're right.
You go out and we're going to come right at you. Let's take our first break, Dan. You're here with Coach Josh Frankie here on Toronto Red Knight Coaches Show, sponsored by J.E. Foster Funeral Home. We'll be back after these messages.
The J.E. Foster Funeral Home has been proudly serving the communities of Toronto and Smithville and all of Jefferson County for over 30 years. They are a family-owned funeral home, and they offer funeral and cremation services tailored to meet your needs, and they do so with professionalism, compassion, dignity, and respect. Jeff and Jay Foster would like to wish the best of luck to Toronto Red Knights and all of the teams up and down the Ohio Valley. If you or someone you know would like more information on how their family can help you guide your family in this time of need, please visit their website, www.jefosterfh.com. That is www.jefosterfh.com. Their motto, our emphasis on family carries over to yours. J.E. Foster Funeral Home, a proud sponsor of the Coaches Show.
Thanks, J.E. Foster Funeral Home, for sponsoring Toronto Red Knights head football coach Josh Frankie on the Ohio Valley Sports Online Coaches Show.
The game is over, but this time, instead of asking how many goals did you score or what were your stats, try asking these questions. Were you a good teammate? Were you coachable? Did you give 100%? And did you have fun? Because those are the values that school sports instill in Ohio's young people, where winning and losing are secondary to the life lessons that will stay with kids long after their playing days are over. This is the Ohio High School Athletic Association. Educate through sports.
Being a teenager is tough. There's the constant pressure to be liked.
Endless worrying about college.
Cyberbullying, high expectations, all the negativity.
There's no question. Being a teenager is tough. And what do Ohio's teens do when they want to block out the noise and clear their heads?
We play!
Yeah! Research shows that teenagers who participate in high school sports have lower stress levels, more confidence, and greater self-esteem. And then there's the biggest benefit of all.
High school sports are fun.
Not just fun.
They're a lot of fun.
Encourage your teenagers to participate in a sport or activity when they go to high school. They'll stress less and smile more. And they'll be laying the foundation for a happier, healthier future.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Want to become a sponsor of this online sports broadcast? It's easy. Look us up on Facebook under Ohio Valley Sports Online. Drop us a message right on our wall or shoot us an email. More bang for your buck. Why? Because it's not radio. It's an online internet sports broadcast with unlimited and endless potential for you. Why settle for less when you can advertise with the best? Ohio Valley Sports Online. Thanks a lot for following us at Ohio Valley Sports Online. Why not visit our webpage at ohiovalleysportsonline.com. It's the way to go for sports fans around the globe to follow your favorite local sports teams.
And we're back here with Coach Josh Frankie here down at Bennigan's, folks. If you aren't tuning in, if you can, come down on Wednesday evenings. Bennigan's, great food, great atmosphere, Ohio Valley Sports Online with all our great local coaches. And, they're one of our premier sponsors for Ohio Valley Sports Online. And while I have this moment, Dan, I want to thank all of our listeners and subscribers, as we did reach 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So anybody out there listening in, if you haven't subscribed, we're going for 2,000 now. So it's cost you nothing. Just let you know when we're on air, go to YouTube, Ohio Valley Sports Online, and subscribe. All right, now got that out of the way. East Palestine.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit, about them. What do they bring to the table?
Played Malvern last week. I believe they lost 32-14. They played pretty well against Malvern's offensive running attack. Now they were hurt pretty badly in the air. I think Malvern threw for 332 yards against them. They're under a new coach, Michael Dempster. I played when I was up in Newton Falls. We played against them when he was at United. So have some familiarity with him. He's a good guy. I think in the past 2 years they've really struggled, but on film they were a little bit better than I expected them to be. The defensive line got really good penetration. Offensively, they give you some different, unique type of looks that you got to really be ready for. If you don't get aligned properly, that they might be able to burn you. So that presents a challenge. Make sure our guys are getting lined up correctly. And anytime you want kids, high school kids, to think, that presents a challenge.
It's definitely a challenge, especially when everybody does it. When you get up the next morning after you win, you look at the team that you played the following week, and you look at the score.
Yeah,
every kid's going to do it. Okay, so we kind of got a softie coming this week. How do you get the kids to get over that real quick?
Well, and I think that's one of those things where we watch opponent film on Monday and sometimes on Wednesdays, but when we're watching the film, we point out more or less where they're good at and how they're good. Hey. Listen, guys, this defensive line's no slouch. They're big. They average probably around 230, 240 on their D-line, and they're rather big. And we're big up front too, though. But it's just one of those things like, hey, guys, this is not going to be like a cakewalk. And you kind of point out their strengths rather than point out their weaknesses. And I think as long as you're highlighting their strengths and your kids are aware of the threat that they present, hopefully they take that serious.
Are they, what do they bring to the table? Are they, I know they're down in number. Are they a big team? Are they a finesse team? Are they going to try to, do they mix it up 50-50? Or
They're, listen, they don't have a kid that you can kind of target in on that's going to beat you. Like last week, Great House, like we knew if Wellsville was going to beat us, it was Isaiah Great House was the one that's going to do it. This week, it's more or less, everyone's kind of contributing, which presents its own challenges. I mean, you can't really focus in on one person. So they're going to get under center a little bit. They run that double tight Maryland eye, an unbalanced line, try to get downhill at you, try to get everybody in a box and kind of grind you out. But then they'll also get in the shotgun, have, a couple receivers stacked out to the left, the tight end, and another receiver to the right. And, they'll try to run a little bit out of that, throw a little bit out of that. So they just give you some different tastes of different things, but there's no real kind of workhorse that you're like, that's the guy we got to stop.
What are you guys going to try to do offensively? Like when you get a game like that, do you try to show coaches down the future what we can do, like throw a couple extra wrinkles in there so they have to prepare for this week and next week?
I don't think we focus so much on that as it is like, this is a week where we're going to try and focus on areas where we feel like we can improve a little bit, and I think that's got to be the focal point going into the meat of your schedule. It's like, the things you do well, and listen, we're going to do those things, but we really want to kind of try to fine tune some things where we might have some question marks. We got to figure out like whether or not, hey, can we run this play?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those. If you're going into a game where you're in for a fight and it's going to be, it's going to be a test and it's a rivalry game like last week. Where lots on the line, first game of the year, maybe you don't run those question mark plays, and I think that's kind of what happened last week against Wellsville. Kind of knocked us off our game plan a little bit, and the fact that maybe I got a little predictable or cautious in my play calling. We tried to lean on Zane a little bit more in the end to try to get out of there. where you forget, like, Zeb is a sophomore quarterback. Like, he needs to throw some balls. He needs to get comfortable back there, and until he's actually throwing the ball around a little bit, that's not going to happen. So, I don't know. We always try to be about 60-40 run. I think we got away from that last week. I think we were about 70-30. So, maybe throw a couple more passes in there and, see what our young quarterback can do and if he can handle it. And but again, it's also would be nice to show teams like, hey, if you load the box against Zane Kinsey, we can hurt you in the air. I mean, that would be a nice thing to have and add to the.
And that's what I was going to ask you. With that big defensive line you talked about, do they load the box or do they depend on that front four?
Not really. I mean, they go into a 4-4, and they'll walk their outside linebackers out to match any. Like if you're a 2-receiver set, they'll match that inside receiver with their outside linebacker, but. They're not going to do anything special. That they do blitz a lot. They blitz a lot against Malvern. They send those middle linebackers on double A gap quite a few times. So that's something that anytime you get a double A gap blitz on a forefront line, they're sending 6 guys. You got 5 linemen. I mean, you need to be prepared on how you're going to protect that. So that's kind of been something we've talked about a lot this week as well.
And in games like this, when you try to get a lead, I know you don't have a lot of guys. You try to build some depth on your offensive line.
You would like to, and I'll tell you, not so much on the offensive line, but the skill positions.
Yeah.
You want to put those skill guys in there and allow them to work with your offensive line. If you throw those skill guys in there early, and you start to just do a wholesale change, and you have a backup line in there as well. Usually, that's not going to build a whole lot of confidence in your skill guys. So we like to try to take a series or two where we still have our starting line in there, but we might change out the skill players and allow them to work with the line so they can kind of build some confidence. So. If an injury or something happens and we got to put up one of those backup guys in a skill spot, they have at least confidence in themselves and what to do because they've been in that position.
And I got to ask you, Coach, I know you are big on special teams. How's that coming along this year? I mean,
listen. It's an adjustment. I mean, obviously we were kind of spoiled last year with Shane Keenan doing our punting and kickoff duties. Zeb handled our kickoff duties last week. We got a couple other guys we've been working with. I don't know if we have anyone who can hit a touchback. Our field goal kicker, Michael Henry, kind of had some knee problems last week. Might be without him again this week. Might have to go for 2 a couple times. We tried to have Zeb kick a couple extra points. It just didn't go well. But he was kind of thrown to the fire a couple days before kickoff. So, it's hard to learn how to kick extra points in a couple days. But as far as punt, I think Aiden Philby had a beautiful, probably a 50-yard punt the other day. Last Thursday. It was the only punt we had. We got a fake punt off. We needed 8, and we ended up getting 16 on that. So it's always great when you drop a fake punt and it works. And obviously the kick return team's been awesome so far. And then Dom Momos had a punt return for a touchdown as well. He took it down to the Wellsville 5. So, again, our special teams coordinator, Dan Schaefer, he spends a lot of time with those units in practice. He never lets me forget that it's a third of the football game, so they require a third of the practice time. So we really get on those guys and make sure that that's a good unit or the good units for us to have out there. And listen, I'm proud of our kickoff return or our kickoff team because there were several times that we kicked it right to Isaiah Greathouse despite saying not to kick it to him. And we had a lot of freshmen out there who he had very minimal success in the return game.
That's the key. Most people don't realize when you go into week 1, you said it right, you don't really put a lot of time into special teams like you probably should do. And then you realize in the first week, like, oh, man, I better get back to this.
Well, I know you were a big special teams guy. We talked about that before. And speaking of Coach Schaefer, before I let you go, because I know he coaches your junior high program.
No, he bumped up.
Oh, he bumped up? No, okay, he used to coach. But well, that was my lead-in where it went wrong there. But the lead-in was to my neighbor across the street. He just joined the Red Knight program, and he came over to me. He's like, Mr. J, I had 5 sacks the other day in the scrimmage. Lazarus Bloomer. That's my man there. He's so excited to be out.
Listen, we're excited for him. He's a big kid, and saw him and his father at Walmart the other day. I was grabbing a couple things and was sure to tell him, hey, your son keeps playing like that. He'll be playing on Friday nights next year.
Yeah, so he's a good kid.
He's a big kid, man.
He is.
He keeps adding to that Red Knight size up front. I'm excited for him.
He's got the mentality, too.
Yeah, he does.
All right, we'll wrap it up here. You got a game Friday, East Palestine at home. hopefully we'll see you here next Wednesday with a victory, 2-0 Toronto Red Knights, and good luck Friday night, Coach.
Thanks,
we'll
man.
see you
Good luck,
Wednesday.
Coach. Always a pleasure.
Yep. Thanks,
Toronto
guys.
being sponsored by J.E. Foster Funeral Home. We'll be right back with Steubenville Catholic Central's football coach.
The J.E. Foster Funeral Home has been proudly serving the communities of Toronto and Smithfield and all of Jefferson County for over 30 years. They are a family-owned funeral home, and they offer funeral and cremation services tailored to meet your needs, and they do so with professionalism, compassion, dignity, and respect. Jeff and Jay Foster would like to wish the best of luck to Toronto Red Knights and all of the teams up and down the Ohio Valley. If you or someone you know would like more information on how their family can help you guide your family in this time of need, please visit their website, www.jefosterfh.com. That is www.jefosterfh.com. Their motto, our emphasis on family carries over to yours. J.E. Foster Funeral Home, a proud sponsor of the Coaches Show.
Want to become a sponsor of this online sports broadcast? It's easy. Look us up on Facebook under Ohio Valley Sports Online. Drop us a message right on our wall or shoot us an email. More bang for your buck. Why? Because it's not radio. It's an online internet sports broadcast with unlimited and endless potential for you. Why settle for less when you can advertise with the best? Ohio Valley Sports Online. A pioneer of casual dining, Bennigan's is internationally known for its unique neighborhood vibe and exceptional chef-driven food. Come to Bennigan's on University Boulevard to stir up a great memory. Come for happy hour Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. and get $1 off draft and bottled beer and $1 off signature cocktails. Grab some bar bites too. Only $5 from 9 p.m. to close. Hey, are you a soccer fan? Check out the schedule of English Premier League soccer games. Bennigan's even has delivery service, and the number to call, 740-792-8080. You got a friend at Bennigan's.
Question. When you walk into the boardrooms of the most successful companies here in Ohio, who do you meet? Answer. Men and women who played high school sports. Education-based high school sports give us more than athletes we can root for. They give us leaders we can depend on. Question. So, where will we find tomorrow's leaders? Answer. High school sports.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
The game is over, but this time, instead of asking how many goals did you score or what were your stats, try asking these questions. Were you a good teammate? Were you coachable? Did you give 100%? And did you have fun? Because those are the values that school sports instill in Ohio's young people, where winning and losing are secondary to the life lessons that will stay with kids long after their playing days are over. This is the Ohio High School Athletic Association. Educate through sports.
And we're back here live at Bennigan's, folks, with our Ohio Valley Sports Online Coaches Show. The Catholic Central portion is sponsored by our host, Bennigan's. Once again, folks, come on down every Wednesday night and enjoy the food, enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy Ohio Valley Sports Online. Coach Meek, I didn't get to make it last week because of work, but I wanted to congratulate you, longtime friend, and congratulations on your new position.
Thank you. It's like I said last week, it's great to be back working with kids. And, of course, I do that all day in school at Toronto. And then I kind of, like Superman, I go in the restroom right at 2:36 and change clothes and get on the road and go about 8-9 miles. And just a great group of young men, and it's exciting.
Yeah, Coach, and, just getting into week one, not the outcome you wanted. A few things here and there changed, the way that the flow of the game. But just, I always try to say, give me, obviously there's a lot of negatives, but give me some of the positives.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll tell you our recap. First off, the effort was good. There is no secret, so I'm not giving away some type of, secret. Our team speed is an issue. The kids know that, the coaches know that, our opponents know that. The effort was very good at times. We had a good football team. Defensively, I thought we had a great plan. Our goal was to shut down number 12, Toto. We really made him a non-factor.
Right.
And I told the guys Monday, I said, you wait and see the rest of the season. He'll have huge nights. But we shut him down. But what happened is we gave up a few pass plays. And that hurt us. And a lot of that, I think the kids realize now after showing it, it was a little bit of backyard football we were playing, not reading our assignments, and a few plays defensively hurt us. And then offensively, we moved the ball at times. At times we got stopped. We dropped some passes, which is not like us because I think our receivers have excellent hands and run good routes. And we made some mistakes on special teams. When you don't have great team speed, you got to play really, really smart special teams. And we made 2 errors that cost us a touchdown and then set up another touchdown.
Yeah, and it's, that you say that because I can remember saying, during the broadcast Saturday night with Billy, at some point in the game saying, Billy, Toto has really, the defense has done a great job. Toto has been shut down other than the kickoff return and then the little trick play on the halfback pass. I said, he's really done nothing.
Well, you were doing your homework because, Toto was dangerous.
Yes.
And we were, I was been concerned about him all summer. And Coach Palmer and the defensive coaches did a great job. And the kids, what we did, we put Tommy Purgie on him as a spy, and Tommy did a really good job. And we were aggressive up front, but they hit the halfback pass, and they hit a few passes with 33.
Gregorino.
Gregorino. We stopped Toto. We didn't stop Gregorino, and on about 6 of them, he made about 6 big plays, but on about 3 of them, we had a missed assignment.
Right.
And that's what we got to tell the kids. And we told the kids that, I call it backyard football. Backyard,
right.
Like if we go in the backyard,
right.
You got to read your keys. You got to be assignment sound. And what I will say, and I say this sincerely, our kids are such great kids. Like I told them today, we had a great practice just now. And I said, but I still yelled a little bit of practice.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And I at the end, it was such a good, I said, when I yell at you guys, you're such great kids. For one of the first times in my life, I kind of feel guilty because they're so good kids. And they just smile. We know. So they're always, yes, sir, yes, coach, But I think that they learned this week that you got to play assignment sound football. And if you do that, if they just do what we ask them to do with full effort, we may give up some big plays on defense. There may be a lack of big plays at time offensively, and special teams are concerned because of a lack of team speed. But the effort, and I'll take these kids. These kids are phenomenal kids, and that's a credit to their parents and the school, the culture at Catholic Central.
And you hit the nail on the head too, because another thing I said, I was telling somebody actually Monday, they're talking about the game.
Right.
I said there were some kids that I know just from seeing my short-handed receivers, and I'm not that dropped some passes.
Right.
There was, I said the defense, and I was telling my buddy, I said the defense played phenomenal.
Right.
Because, I call them splash plays. I said, really, the splash plays are what beat them. But other than that, they held their own with this team. They kept that threat away.
We weren't happy with the loss. We weren't happy with the score. I didn't anticipate that score. But, when you don't make plays, that's what happens against a good team.
I'll tell you what, I wasn't happy with the last score.
Yes, yes.
And I said, and I try to be, as you've been here, you've done this. You try to be neutral as a broadcaster, but that's one of my big pet peeves. the game's over.
Well, I don't understand that. I mean, I think Coach Bourne's a class act.
I do too.
I don't know what, but I will say this. You're right, because I had a guy one time say, "Why don't you run the score up?" I said, "Well, first off, I don't do that to kids. The second thing is, the opposing coach I have respect for, and third, why would I want to damage a relationship between two high schools?"
Right.
So we as coaches, but
and I won't beat it. We were on that.
we should have stopped that, but and my son said he thinks that maybe they did it to get a running clock to get the game over, but anyways,
basically the game was over. And I used to tell I tell my girl, I coach girl softball at younger level and travel in high school, and I would say, listen, always remember, one day this could be you on the other side of this. And so
when you do it long enough, you're usually on both sides.
Yeah, so never.
Right.
But I'll get off of that. That's one of my big. Excuse me. And as far as injuries, I know we were banged up a little bit. I got to see. I was at the Big Red Central girls volleyball game. I got to see BJ Fallon after practice. He stopped down and watched the game, and he looked okay. Told me, I said, "How you feeling, BJ?" He said, "A little dinged up, but I'll be okay." I seen Dom on crutches. I mean, anybody else?
Well, we had 4 guys get hurt. 2 are pretty serious, and 2 aren't. I don't want to really get into names, because of.
Right.
Actually, let me tell you.
Yeah,
there's 2 reasons. No, let me. There's 2 reasons. One is we don't want to let our opponent know.
Exactly.
But the main reason is due to student privacy laws.
Right, you're right. And
you got to be careful with that. So, but yeah, we did have some kids go out, and a couple of those kids we're not going to see for a while, and a few of them we may not see at all. But but again, just great kids, and we're going to be a little shorthanded again this week against a really, really good opponent. But, we just want to get better.
Right.
We just want our goal is to get better every single day in every game. We want the mistakes that we have made, we want to correct. And I've said it all along, if we can stay healthy, my goal is that when we're playing in October, we're playing our best football.
Right, amen to that.
Right.
It's not where you start, it's where you finish, right? Coach? And just getting back, because I've always been like this, with every coach that I've ever done this with, I try to take, even in a loss, I look at, I was so impressed with Braden Roush. I was so impressed with Malachi, man.
Right.
I mean,
Malachi came to us
from
from
two
Pittsburgh,
young guys
right?
that, I'm like, who is this kid? And they made a big impact.
Yeah,
they were positive.
And I talked last week about our offense. So let me talk a little bit, if I can, about give you some names on defense. Bruce Palmer's our defensive coordinator, and the guys all do a great job, the coaches. And so at defensive tackle there, we have Peyton Rouch, who's a sophomore, Malachi Manley, a senior, who came in from Pittsburgh. Malachi was the only senior who started on defense this past week. And then you have at defensive end, you got 2 juniors, Tyler Iolenti and Brendan Grimm.
Yes, very good kid.
Inside linebackers, we had Braden Rouch, who's a junior, and we had Nico Petrella, who was a senior, and Timmy Mahalio, who was a sophomore. Outside backers were 2 juniors starting the game. We had Toby Ruciano, a junior. We had Jimmy Hernan, who was a sophomore, and then Tommy Purgie, our sophomore at safety. And our corners were B.J. Fallon, a junior, to start the game until the injury. And Deshaun Seditz was over there as well, a senior. So, and Michael DiCarlo, a junior.
Michael DiCarlo, you say Mikey,
yeah. Michael was also went out later in the game. But, they did, I was proud of the effort. I was really proud that we kind of, we kept a really good eye on Toto.
Yeah, they battled. I mean, like you said, if it wasn't for the, the big, I call splash plays, hitting Gregorino on the back foot for big play, that halfback pass.
Yeah.
They held, the defense, really, they did a good job. Hats off to Coach Palmer, with that. All right, Dan, you want to take our first break here? Folks, you are listening to the Ohio Valley Sports Online Coaches Show with Coach Eric Meek, brought to you by our host Bennigan's. We'll be right back going into next week's opponents, the Caldwell Redskins, I believe, right after this.
A pioneer of casual dining, Bennigan's is internationally known for its unique neighborhood vibe and exceptional chef-driven food. Come to Bennigan's on University Boulevard to stir up a great memory. Come for happy hour Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. and get $1 off draft and bottled beer and $1 off signature cocktails. Grab some bar bites too, only $5 from 9 p.m. to close. Hey, are you a soccer fan? Check out the schedule of English Premier League soccer games. Bennigan's even has delivery service, and the number to call, 740-792-8080. You got a friend at Bennigan's.
This high school event is brought to you by AT&T on Sunset via the AT&T Wireless Network. Remember, don't text and drive, it can wait. AT&T on Sunset is a proud sponsor of this high school event.
Want to become a sponsor of this online sports broadcast? It's easy. Look us up on Facebook under Ohio Valley Sports Online. Drop us a message right on our wall or shoot us an email. More bang for your buck. Why? Because it's not radio. It's an online internet sports broadcast with unlimited and endless potential for you. Why settle for less when you can advertise with the best? Ohio Valley Sports Online.
Question. When you walk into the boardrooms of the most successful companies here in Ohio, who do you meet? Answer. Men and women who played high school sports. Education-based high school sports give us more than athletes we can root for. They give us leaders we can depend on. Question. So where will we find tomorrow's leaders? Answer. High school sports.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
The game is over, but this time, instead of asking how many goals did you score or what were your stats, try asking these questions. Were you a good teammate? Were you coachable? Did you give 100%? And did you have fun? Because those are the values that school sports instill in Ohio's young people, where winning and losing are secondary to the life lessons that will stay with kids long after their playing days are over. This is the Ohio High School Athletic Association. Educate through sports.
Being a teenager is tough.
There's the constant pressure to be liked.
Endless worrying about college.
Cyberbullying, high expectations, all the negativity.
There's no question. Being a teenager is tough. And what do Ohio's teens do when they want to block out the noise and clear their heads?
We play!
Yeah! Research shows that teenagers who participate in high school sports have lower stress levels, more confidence, and greater self-esteem. And then there's the biggest benefit of all.
High school sports are fun.
Not just fun.
They're a lot of fun.
Encourage your teenagers to participate in a sport or activity when they go to high school. They'll stress less and smile more. And they'll be laying the foundation for a happier, healthier future.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
A pioneer of casual dining, Bennigan's is internationally known for its unique neighborhood vibe and exceptional chef-driven food. Come to Bennigan's on University Boulevard to stir up a great memory. Come for happy hour Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. and get $1 off draft and bottled beer and $1 off signature cocktails. Grab some bar bites too, only $5 from 9 p.m. to close. Hey, are you a soccer fan? Check out the schedule of English Premier League soccer games. Bennigan's even has delivery service, and the number to call, 740-792-8080. You got a friend at Bennigan's.
And we're back here at Bennigan's with Coach Eric Meek, Steubenville Catholic Central. Coach Meek, let's talk about this week's opponent. You had a tough week one, didn't go to way, but you're going right back into the fire with a very, very good Caldwell team. Just go a little bit over. What do they bring? Are they a big
Well,
squad?
they're in the high 20s, but they're a very good football team. I'd say one of the top 3 teams on our schedule. From a talent standpoint, they're well coached. They only had one senior on the team last year.
Wow.
They have a 1,600-yard rusher returning. They're physical. They're well coached. They run a 40 defense. They'll get into some TNT 50 looks. They will offensively. They'll be in the gun again, like most teams are, and they'll run outside. They'll get in some unbalance. They give you several different formations, and they got tremendous speed.
Do they throw the ball in?
Yeah, they'll throw the ball. They run the ball. With that tailback, and there's a very, very good football team.
I think talking earlier to you, you said exactly what I thought we seen Saturday was you had effort, just the lack of speed.
Yes.
Sometimes in a game comes to haunt you a little bit. And the injuries didn't help neither.
Right.
You're losing your wide receiver kind of early, and but it just seemed like that you were in the right spot sometimes, and they were just outrunning you.
Right.
And
I don't know if you heard us talking earlier. Yeah. We talked about we wanted to contain Toto. We did a great job, but then at times we just didn't quite do our assignments. And I had told Jason that I think I say that's backyard football. I had mentioned that earlier. And when the kids realize, oh man, there is a reason they're telling us, to step here and look here before you go there. And we have a lot of kids that haven't played, some football, and of course this is a brand new system. So, it is what it is, and I will tell you, we had a great practice today, and we're just going to keep working hard and coaching and coach to the final play of the final game this year.
It seemed like you got a little bit going offensively in the first game. How do you carry that over into this game?
We made some adjustments. The guys up in the box, really two, old-time guys. My dad and Coach Jerry Vinci and Teddy Kostecki and Todd Phillipson were up at our middle school coaches. They saw some things and relayed, and then we made some adjustments as far as what the linebackers for Matthews was doing. And when we realized, man, maybe we should do less of this and more of this, we started picking up some yardage.
Now, sorry, I have one more for you. How does Caldwell's middle linebacker stack up to those two guys from Matthews? Because I told Jason before the game started, I go, those two kids are players. You know when you walk on a football field, you can see people. Them two look like studs.
Right, absolutely. They're good. Caldwell is a very, very good football team. They're going to win a lot of games, and we're going to go down there, get on the bus, and give it our best effort. Yeah.
And we talked about what they do offensively, defensively. What do they throw to you? Four front or
They run a 4-4 defense. So they'll mix. I call it a 1, a 2, and a 3 technique with a defensive tackle. So they'll mix that up, and usually if you pull a guard, they'll bring a linebacker. So we've been working on that this week, and they're good. They held Buckeye Trail. Buckeye Trail took the opening kickoff and went down the field and scored. And after that, they didn't score again. And they had a lightning delay. I think they got done at like 12:30.
Yeah, I heard it was like an hour and 45-minute delay.
Yeah. Yeah, Coach, we were exchanging film, and he sent me a late text. He goes, Coach, just so you know, we're not home yet. We had a delay. So I think I got the film at like 4 a.m.
Nice. Wow. Nice. How long is the trip to Caldwell?
I think it's like an hour and 20. I've only been there once on a scouting trip. So... But, we'll play at the fairgrounds.
Turf or grass?
Grass.
Mm-hmm. First time it'll be your first only game on grass this year?
Bridgeport. I don't know.
Bridgeport's grass. Are they playing off the stadium off of 70?
Yeah, and then we play at Rosecrans as well.
Grass, okay.
In a couple weeks.
I got to ask you, Coach, what do you do? Do you do differently, You play Saturday night, and you come right back and you play Friday night, so it's one less day to prepare. Without giving away your game.
No, just Sunday. Despite that loss, let the guys go to church if they want to. The coaches will bring them in at noon, And, we were there, I think, till 10 o'clock or so, or 9 o'clock. And then we come back Monday. We just do a film session with the kids and a walkthrough and a game plan. I get the kids out of there at 5:30. We lift. And then the coaches stay until, 9 o'clock or so. I usually finalize my special teams game plan. And then, Tuesday, Wednesday are hard practices. Tomorrow will be a run through. Then we play Friday. But to make it even more interesting, next week we play on Thursday.
Yes.
So Saturday will be. We'll come in, the coaches, and we'll get ready for Wellsville, and then we'll have to bring the kids in Sunday at 1 because Sunday will be like a Monday. Everything will get bumped up another day. So.
Yeah, I forgot about that. We'll probably be there when that game Thursday.
And then 2 weeks after that, we play Edison on a Thursday.
How did that game get to Thursday?
Wellsville?
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. Remember, I was the head coach at Wellsville for 8 years.
Okay.
And I taught there for 16 years, lived in Wellsville for 12, so I'm very connected to the community still. Well, we knew Ohio State Notre Dame was going to be that day, but we were waiting on the kickoff.
Yeah.
And the second it was announced an evening kickoff, me and Mike Barber, we sat down and I said, Mike, Catholic Central, obviously being a Catholic school, a lot of Notre Dame, a lot of Ohio State fans. I said, but Wellsville has a lot of Notre Dame fans.
Yeah.
I know that. In Ohio State, I said, it's – so we did it because to accommodate the fan. Everyone wants to see that game, and we just felt like we called Wellsville and we said, hey, could you go on Thursday? We were going to go on Friday, but Big Red has somebody coming in from Canada, I believe. And
Washington, D.C.
Yes, and they promised him. So we're going to go Thursday night.
That's what I was wondering. You were honest about it, though. Most people didn't tell me that. They didn't want to say it was for the Notre Dame Ohio State
but
game.
I mean, it's
it works out good for me and Jason because we'll get to watch the game too.
But like I said, Wellsville has a lot of Notre Dame supporters. I just know that from living and coaching and teaching there, and in Ohio State. So.
Well, kudos to you.
I won't be watching the game. I'll be working on the next opponent. Everyone's like, did you see the Steelers game or the Browns? I'm like, what? They played? Who won?
Most of the time, Coach, people don't realize how much time high school coaches put in.
My wife does. She's the one that pushed me into this and said, you got to get out of the house.
Yeah.
But, Browns and Steelers and, I'm lucky to I love college football. I'm lucky to maybe catch a Saturday night late game.
Yeah.
But, some of my friends that still coach, I follow their teams. But, this is a 7-day-a-week thing to do it right. And, you're always racing against time. Like he said, I got 6 days this week instead of 7 or 8, and then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to have another 6 days the following. So, it's a crazy life. But my dad's still helps me. He's 82.
Yeah.
But I grew up in a coach's house, and I kind of knew the life, and until you actually do it and do it the right way, it's crazy. I mean, people are like, you didn't meet for 8 or 10 hours. Yeah, we meet 8 or 10 hours,
What was I'm sorry I forget his name because he was a great guy. When I worked at First Energy, your uncle.
Bob Unger.
Yes, Bob Unger. What's he up to?
Well, Bob is really having a great time. His grandson is a freshman.
Okay.
And just transferred to Youngstown Ursuline.
Oh, okay.
And he's going to be a heck of a player. Yeah. And he's already getting some interest, and so Bob's become an Ursuline Irish fan. But I'll tell him you said hello.
Yeah, I said, man, maybe I'll see him on the sideline.
Well, he was on the sidelines. He came down and helped Leo. Him and my son both helped Leo Lanigan with the equipment.
I missed him. Tell him I said hello.
I will.
That was a great guy, man.
Well, we'll wish you good luck Friday night against Caldwell, Coach.
Good.
Hopefully we can figure out how to get a win and keep everybody healthy.
Yes, that's what we're going to try to do, and it's great being with you guys again tonight.
Appreciate
Yep,
it,
no
Coach.
problem, Coach.
Good
Wear
luck
that shirt.
to
Oh, yes, thanks for the shirt.
Yeah.
I'll wear it, definitely. Have a good night.
We'll be back here. We're going to have a little Joe Wallace from the Franciscan University basketball team is going to come over and join us for a couple minutes. But we'll be right back. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with Coach from Franciscan University, Joe Wallace.
Thanks for the shirt.
Everhart Bove Funeral Home, they believe you should take care of your loved ones while you still can. Pre-planning at Everhart Bove ensures that your family won't have to worry about the stress of final arrangements during this most difficult time. More importantly, they won't have to worry about how they'll pay for it. Visit Everhart Bove Funeral Home today and discover all the affordable options available. Everhart Bove Funeral Home, Wintersville, Richmond, and Burgle. This high school event is brought to you by AT&T on Sunset via the AT&T wireless network. Remember, don't text and drive, it can wait. AT&T on Sunset is a proud sponsor of this high school event.
Yeah, I'm ready.
You're the boss, Danny.
And we're back here at Bennigan's, Ohio Valley Sports Online Coaches Show with a little extra special treat tonight. We've done our high school football coaches, but we get to interview one of our favorite guys around, Coach Joe Wallace from Franciscan University Bears basketball team.
Great to see you guys.
Good to see you.
And just so you know, like I've always wanted to be a high school football coach, so I feel like I can act like
You do that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
So
Is there the same hours in college basketball that they put in for high school football?
Maybe more.
10 hours a day? 7 hours a day?
Well, here's the deal. Those guys are all stressed sitting here.
Yeah.
Like we have move-in day tomorrow, so our freshmen and newcomers coming tomorrow, and then everybody else. So I'm still in that relaxation summer mode, right?
Yes.
You know, so you guys see me when we're in the middle of the season, and I'm like those guys.
Yeah.
So right now I'm kind of hanging out still.
Right.
I get to relax
Gotcha.
for a little bit as we hit preseason. So, yeah, I mean, big hours. You know how that goes.
Oh,
Same thing. Yeah,
it's
but
everywhere.
It's just the way it goes. But excited though. We have a really we have a great recruiting class coming in that we're excited about. We have a big transfer coming in. But the big thing about our roster right now is that we return just about everybody but Sean Hickey from last year. And we play a lot of guys, so we were able to develop a lot of depth last year. And the way we play fast now, the pressing, the full court basketball. I know I know.
You know I love it.
But we were able to develop a bench and develop guys, and I mean, we have a chance to be pretty good this year. We really do. And I mean, it's only the beginning, and we'll start. But here's the issue, though. Looking up at the hill is we had a big flood with construction going on, and our floor got flooded in the field house. So it's got to be replaced. But thank goodness we've been out in the community for the last few years, and we're going to be going, to Weirton, to the Millsop Center is going to be kind of like our headquarters, and then we'll be going to Big Red, to Central, to Weir, and other places right now. But that's not a problem. We're used to that stuff. But our guys have taken on that blue-collar mentality since they've been here. This is the Ohio Valley, and we don't expect to be given anything. So we don't have a floor. So that's part of the way it's gone.
I don't remember the kid's name, but my son played in the OVAC football game, and I know you're the kid from Reno Central.
Yeah.
And I told a guy, anybody wants to talk to me, he was the best player on the football field that night.
Well, he was.
There's no doubt in my
I
mind.
watched it, and I didn't want to talk about this. So Malachi Rose Burton, he'll be here tomorrow.
Yeah.
The kid is a great kid. He was probably one of the best players on that field.
Not probably. He was.
He was.
He was.
No, all right. But, yeah.
There's no probably.
Yeah, that Monday, I was like, texting, calling him, and I was like wondering. I was like, all right, is another school going to reach out to him for football?
Yeah.
But the kid was recruited by so many schools to play football. He just enjoys playing basketball. And we were lucky enough to be on him. He really liked the family atmosphere that we have, and we are so blessed to have this kid coming up. And now he's going to focus just on basketball. Big-time athlete, tough kid, great teammate, all the intangibles as a quarterback, a leader. He's a leader, right?
Yes.
He's a leader. And we are so excited to have him coming up here tomorrow. I mean, it's tomorrow. So.
And you also have the kid, the Miller kid, coming down.
Yes. Yeah, we have a kid named Reese Miller coming out of the Cleveland area from Columbia. They had their two best years.
in the last 20 years, I mean, smaller high school, but his junior and senior year, this kid led him to big runs, 2 conference championships, runs into the Ohio, into the section, like late sectionals, into the regionals, and just a winner, right? Winners, right? We want winners, and we have a group of like some winners coming in to be a part of this next year. So this is right now we're extremely excited, and you know how that is as like the football coaches that were just here. They're into week 1. Yeah, so half of them are excited, half of them are not. So I'm excited about everything right now. So. Yeah.
When can you start practice? You know, I know there's certain dates. I know there's certain time frames. You're going to get so many hours a week.
Yep. Yeah, so NCAA Division III, we can start the first official practice October 15th. But starting, like, right away, we can start with open gyms, strength and conditioning, which we go really disciplined, really regimented schedule starting next week, really, once all of our returners are here this weekend. Classes start Monday. It's pretty much at that point, it's, 5 to 6 days a week.
Good.
Yeah, it is.
And I got to tell you, Coach, I'm, openly, obviously, one of your biggest fans, Coach, because I love the way you guys play the game. I love the depth. I love the full court man-to-man. I love the 5 in, 5 out, 3 in, 3 out. If you're tired, come out, get a breather.
Yes.
And I can't wait. And it's like a flower that started as a bud. It's starting to bloom.
It's starting to bloom.
And I'm really anxious.
And you know what? And just like that, it's like the blooming of it. And you look at like a personal side of that, like Josh Zimmerman.
Yes.
He was a bud. He fit the system perfectly. He's starting to bloom not only as a player but as a man around here.
Mm-hmm.
Like the dude's picture is hanging up in our admissions department. Like you walk in there, you're gonna see Josh Zimmerman, which is just a testament to him right now. I mean, everybody knows him on campus. Yeah. The kid is just really just put his heart and soul into being not only like the Steubenville guy, Franciscan, just being completely about what's going on right now, and it's really a big key to what we're about too. I mean, he's our most versatile, dynamic player too. So
like you said, you've got everybody coming back except for Sean.
Except for Sean.
It's going to be a huge loss because he was fantastic.
Yeah.
But you have some great. Is my man Travis coming back?
Travis is back.
Oh, that's it.
He's here right now.
So good.
And Travis is back. Travis looks good. He's put on some weight.
That's my dude.
It is your dude. I know he's your dude. I know he's your dude. Travis is a dynamic player. He's 6'6", going on 6'7", with guard skills.
Oh yeah.
2 knee injuries, but the kid is he's figuring out how to play differently than he was before. But at the end of last year, he really came on strong and really helped us out because you see, I mean, we all saw what he's capable of. So you know what? It'd be great to see him 1 full year of Travis.
Just playing basketball.
Just playing basketball. Exactly. Just going out and hooping. Yep.
I forget and please forgive me, I forget his name. The big guy, first-year freshman.
Oh, Jan. Jan Q.
There you go, Jan.
He flies in tomorrow night. He just texted me
awesome.
So Jan, his development last year, I mean, basically 6'8", but 250, and no really skill, but he was aggressive, strong. He came from a really small high school, came from Africa, and then he was in New Hampshire. But his blossoming, too, this last year. And now he's going to have a running mate that's coming in as a transfer, Joe Silvera from the Bay Area of California, is 6'9", skilled. Now we have the two of them together. Now we really have depth at the five, which we really didn't have last year. So that with the guards we have and the style we're playing, I mean, we have a chance to be pretty successful this year.
Sounds like you're really excited about this upcoming season.
I really am, and not just the talent, but the men we have. They're fun to coach. They're fun to be around. And then like a kid like Reese Miller and Malachi coming from Monroe Central, they're just good kids, great kids. So
and that's a testament to you guys and your coaching staff. Because you said Malachi had several offers for football.
Oh, several.
And, for you guys to be able to go get these guys, kudos to you, and your coaches.
But he's right, though, that All-Star game. I mean, I remember sitting there the next day and just being like, oh, boy. Oh, boy.
I was at the game. I watched them start to finish, and then they were down 14-0.
They were down 14-0.
They says, go make plays. And he went 80. They got the ball back. He went 50. And I'm going, these are the best players in the Ohio Valley.
Yeah.
And he's making them look like 8th graders. I'm seriously, he was unbelievable.
And he's the most humble kid.
That's what Brandon told me when he came home. He was humble.
Yes.
He talked to you. He was humble. He didn't say anything.
Nope.
And just played football.
So Yep.
Well, he's not playing football no more.
No
He's
more.
playing basketball.
No more. But you know what?
Yeah.
Like, we love having like football guys like that in our program.
Yeah.
Just trust me on that one.
Yeah,
So I said I want to be a football coach, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Got one.
like those guys. Yeah, we got a football player, and
Yeah.
we have a couple of them, and it's those guys are going to get after it defensively. They're going to come to work every day. You know how it is, that football mentality, and that's a big part of what we're trying to do here. So
one thing I did notice too last year, I was surprised. Sean's brother, he played baseball too, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So all right. So Aiden was, he transferred from Ave Maria. He was a baseball player there. He came here, and really, like, he was a really good high school player, but basketball wise, and he came. He wanted to play with Sean his last year. Now Aiden's all in. I mean, basketball wise, I mean, his development and growth last year was big, and yeah, he's shown. I think actually he's probably in town right now. He just got in, and Aiden's a tough kid.
That adds to
he
that
is
depth,
a tough
man.
kid, man. He's a tough kid. I love Aiden, and yeah, that's another guy that's been developed through the program for a year. And the one guy though, I'm gonna just leave this here. I know how much you guys probably want to get off here, but was a transfer last year. Was a junior college kid, Colton Hage.
I remember.
Early in the year, Colton had a big summer. Colton has matured and is comfortable with being in Steubenville from Southern California, and I think Colton is going to have a pretty darn good.
Yeah, he can light it up too when he hits. I mean,
he's got a lot of swagger too. He can make big shots. He can create his own shot, and another kid that's a guy that we're going to really lean on as a leader too this year.
And that's awesome. And I got also before we let you go, congratulations on your new promotion or job or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so director of community relations for the university, and my first love is coaching, right? Basketball, but the community is definitely a part of my love. I think you guys can understand that. Yeah. I mean, Franciscan being in Steubenville, we have a lot of pride for being in this valley, and so do I. And I think that like we can continue to have even a better partnership. The university's been around 75 years. These next 75 to 100 years, like Steubenville and Franciscan can continue to grow together, just like you're seeing right here. And that's part of what my job's going to be, is to continue to build those bridges together. So, and we're going to do that as our program grows, the basketball program grows, the university grows, and we're going to continue to help this great city and this great community in the Ohio Valley. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you coming over and talking to us, man. We can't wait to the basketball season, but we're on the fastest 10 weeks first. We got to get the fastest 10 weeks.
Fastest 10 weeks.
Yeah, you get that done first.
Exactly. Yeah. Next time I'm going to stop by, and I told Dan I'm going to talk about some high school football with you guys. Yeah, I'm going to give you my
we can do
my
that.
sense, because
I'm
locked in with it all
let's
right
do
now.
it.
Here's what you got to do. You got to get Dan and say, hey, I want Jason and Billy a couple of those games up there.
Oh, you want me to start doing that? Oh, you got some politics.
You got to push in. I got politics.
There's a lot of politics. That's one thing about it. There's always politics. But appreciate seeing you guys.
See you guys.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll see you up there.
See you guys. Yep.
Coach Joe Wallace from the Franciscan University of Steubenville Barons basketball. Can't wait for another exciting season. Folks, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you for joining us. Join us Friday nights. Indian Creek High School, Dan? At Indian Creek as the Redskins take on the East Liverpool Potters. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday evening, folks, and tune in Friday night.